Hello. Okay. We're come back with some more process of elimination. We're going to be finishing chapter 3 tonight, and then moving on to chapter 4. So, let me just... Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's jump into this. Last time we did the investigation, and then we finished up after that. So now we're going to be going through the results of said investigation and figuring out who did this murder, and then moving on to a new case, probably. Okay, so Waffles, you want to start us off?
Yes, sir. A mere commoner insisted we assemble? The insolence of it all astounds me. I take this to mean you discovered the crime's true culprit, then?
That I have.
Hmm?
I answered Posh's inquiry directly. Normally I might have buckled under the pressure, but I won't falter this time. This is vengeance for Rowdy. First, allow me to clear my name. I assert that it would have been impossible for me to enter Rowdy's cell using the underground passageway.
Pardon? And why exactly would that be? There was no other method of entry last I recall.
There's a tricky issue with that tunnel. Something one detective particularly close with Rowdy must have noticed. That person would be... I'm assuming it's Gourmet. Gourmet, would you tell us the issue with entering the cell using the passageway? Okie dokie. Actually, why don't I open it up and show you guys? With that, Gourmet climbed into the passage and began opening the door. As she did...
Rather loud, isn't it?
Right? And little Rowdy had such sensitive ears, remember? Do you really believe that she, of all people, could sleep through all that racket?
A valid point.
It's just like Gourmet says. Using the passage makes a lot of noise, so much that the neighboring cells might notice. Which basically makes it impossible that someone with hearing as keen as Rowdy's wouldn't notice it.
Now wait a moment. How could the perpetrator make such a blunder? Surely they would have noticed the issue had they tried moving even slightly.
I don't think they were able to test it, since they'd risked crossing paths with me. I believe this crime was a spur-of-the-moment gamble, which is precisely why the culprit made so many blunders. We can see similar missteps in the method they used to murder Rowdy.
Their method, you say? Tell me then, what missteps would those be?
Well, already recreated... Techie already recreated them for us. Actually, you ready, Techie? Yes, leave it to me. The preparations are all complete. Techie has an aura of readiness about him. Still, it's clear the group isn't on the same page, with Posh tilting her head in confusion.
Well, what have you prepared for us? Explain it in nobleman's terms, if you please.
Posh, take a look at your feet.
Hmm? This is a wire trailing along the ground? How could I fail to notice such a thing? 'Cause you suck. Looking closely, it appears to be attached to the chain of the wall bed. What on earth is the purpose of this?
I feel like we talked last time about how it's like it seems like they're making her out to be the obvious culprit, so she's probably not the culprit. But if she's not the culprit, why is she so bad why is she such a bad detective?
I mean, it almost
so dumb.
This almost looks like just bad acting, in my opinion.
It definitely
what?
could be.
Like,
It definitely could be. But it's
dude.
just
It's like
like, if not, it's just like, she's just that stupid.
I really hope it's not her, because I'm like, dude, it's like up, you know?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's like one thing, like, people complain about, like, the Danganronpa characters being dumb and stuff all the time, but those are, and it's like, they're, some of them are pretty dumb, but they're also kids, and they're not necessarily meant to be good at detective work. These are all professional detectives.
Yeah, despite them being, I guess, well, a few of them, I guess you could say they're kids, but it's like still
Yeah,
like
but
they're
those
in a
are the ones that
profession.
know what they're doing.
Exactly.
All the
Yeah.
really young ones are good at this.
hmm
It's the older ones that aren't. This is the wire we found inside the dungeon. I'm sure you know where it's from, too, Posh.
Pardon?
Right, this wire is. It should be from the SPX, I'm guessing. This wire is used by a certain SPX to retrieve its spikes. The very same ones that attacked you, Posh.
Hmm? More was stolen than just the spike itself?
Correct. It was obvious the spike was missing, so we overlooked what else was stolen. After all, it was just a small portion of wire taken. This wire is sturdy, but it's black, making it hard to detect in darkness, all the more here in the cells since they lack their own lighting. If you run the wire along the side of the wall of the entrance, you could manipulate what's happening in the cell without entering yourself. Right, just like Techie says. Before the murder, right before lights out, the culprit must have attached the wire to the bed chain and iron bars. They then used it to impale Rowdy on the spike without going inside her cell.
Slow down. How do you propose they use said wire to move the spike? True, it could have easily passed between the bars, but it's several meters to the bed. Wouldn't an accurate shot to the chest be rather difficult?
Yeah, it would be. For the culprit, the trickiest part was figuring out how exactly to stab her with the spike. However, I was able to recreate the method by examining the marks left by wires tied around the bed chains and cell bars. The culprit positioned the spike above the sleeping Rowdy by using an unusual approach, namely, dropping it like a crane game.
Yes, I love that answer.
Check evidence. I'm guessing it's sliding the spike down the wires?
I'm assuming so.
Yep. It's the only one that didn't seem like it was that didn't seem fun enough.
Yeah.
When in doubt, pick the boring answer. By connecting the bed chains to the bars with wire, the culprit created a bridge to slip the spike into Rowdy's cell.
Bridge, hmm? So they connected the chain to a bar, then pulled the wire taut? Wouldn't it be a bit difficult to slide the spike down that way? The chains extended to the bed's outer corners. Even if the spikes traveled all the way down, you'd be lucky if it managed to stab the head or shoulder.
Yeah, with a one-wire zip line, that would be the case. But what if two wires are used to form a track of sorts?
2 wires?
Yes, two wires can act as guide rails, with the spikes suspended in between them. The girl handed incompetent detective a replica of the murder weapon that she had prepared. Just as I requested earlier, Bookworm produces a spike with some wire attached. Just like the actual weapon used in the crime, there's a hole at the base of the spike where a wire can be fed into. The wire has been passed through the hole and connected at the ends, forming a loop. Thanks, Bookworm. Just like the replica she made, the real murder weapon also featured a wire loop, creating a sort of giant keychain. If we thread the guide rail wires connecting the bed chains and bars through this loop, what would happen? Let's test it and find out. I pass the two aforementioned wires through the wire loop at the base of the spike, then let go. Once I do, the spike drops a bit before wobbling back and forth. dangling between the two wires. If I let go like this, the spike only dangles in place. It can't travel to the bed like this, so an additional change must be made. Armor, could you adjust the knots to the wires over on the bars? They're up higher? Verily, my good sir. Wasting no time, Armor immediately unties the knots and repositions them much higher. The incline of the track connecting the bars to the bed is quite steep now. As expected, the spike begins to move. Like something of a cable car, the suspended spike slides down the two guiding wires.
It's begun to descend.
By adjusting the angle, the spike's weight propels it downward. I see why those marks on the bars are so high up now. Yeah, I noticed the scratches on the bars are much higher than on the chains. That's when I realized the track required a steep incline. The sliding spike reaches the end of the track, coming to a halt where the wires and chains connect. It's perfectly in between the two chains, supporting the bed, dangling directly where the sleeper's torso would be.
I've grasped the general concept, but how does the wire remain taut? While suspended by that loop, shouldn't the weight of the spike pull the wires downward and cause them to slacken?
Aside from the tip, the spike is remarkably light. So long as the wires were pulled taut and properly attached, they shouldn't give in. Despite its lightweight design, it's still heavy enough to propel down the track. If the angle is right, it'll make it to the bed without a hitch. Once the spike reaches the bed, all one must do is untie the knots on the bars. I leave the rest to you, said the girl, gesturing to incompetent. Alright, everyone, your attention please. This was the method used to murder Rowdy. First, I untie one wire. It was only threaded through the chain links on the opposite side, so its removal is incredibly easy. Upon doing so, the suspended spike wobbles and falls toward the bed, but that momentum alone wouldn't be enough to stab someone. The design of the bed, however, was exploited to compensate for this. Because of the way the wall bed was constructed, pulling the chain will cause it to close like this. Grasping the second wire, I yank with all my might. The chain is pulled along with it. And with a sharp noise, the bed jerks up toward the wall. Once I let go, you can see the spike is embedded deep inside the mattress.
What was that? How did the spike stab through the bed when it was lifted?
Due to the length of the spike, folding up the bed caused it to catch on the corner of hollow space where the mattress fits into the wall.
Oh, I see. That's why the culprit took the spike in advance. They wanted to adjust its length so it'd get caught there.
Exactly, Doleful. For this crime, the needle couldn't touch the victim while dangling, but still had to catch the bed when the bed was closed. That's why the spike was stolen ahead of time, despite the culprit knowing they may be exposed for doing so. But an unforeseen problem arose, making one other condition necessary to pull off this plan successfully.
And what would that be?
Height. As Teki explained before, the wire track slant must be angled high enough to slide the spike over to the bed. However, during the crime, the culprit found that their arms were too short. The track was tilted too low, and the spike stopped moving. Adequate height was required? Then how was it attained? Mayhap the culprit mastered the art of body elongation? No. The fuck does that mean? Armor, stop. Gaining sufficient height would be quite a challenge, yes, but there's a simpler way to accomplish this. Then, whatever the fuck you just said. The culprit gained height by using the wall bed, room chair. Well, that makes sense. The culprit needed the chair in the warden's room to raise up the wires. The very same chair we employed whilst investigating the SPX? Yep, that's right. The culprit must have seen us using it and recalled it at that moment. Standing atop the chair, they were able to reaffix the wires at a higher point before sliding the spike down once more. However, it's here that the culprit made a fatal error.
And what was that? Quickly, if you would.
When they were bringing the chair over from the warden's room, they happened to bump into me. I definitely recall seeing that chair somewhere it shouldn't have been at that moment.
Perhaps they were attempting to rid themselves of potential eyewitness? From the culprit's perspective, it would make sense.
So long as the culprit wasn't seen carrying it, they could claim to be on their way to the warden's bathroom. Wouldn't that be easier? Frankly, it was odd for the culprit to be in that area, considering the dungeon's layout. But at that time, someone was inexplicably at the spot where I was attacked. Same individual who killed Rowdy. And that person was... fucking old man, senior detective. It had to have been.
Oh, of course. I mean, who else would it be? Come on.
I mean, I'm still... Posh is still the only person I can think of.
Which in chapter 3, right?
What do you mean?
We're in chapter 3, right?
We're in chapter 3, yes.
Yeah, suicide.
Suicide. You're thinking of chapter 4.
Oh, is it chapter 4?
Yeah, chapter 3 is where the double murders happen.
Oh, yeah.
So it had to be someone short, right?
Yep.
So it probably wasn't Bookworm. Doleful's actually not that short, maybe. I mean, I think they're telling it. I think it was Posh.
I mean,
ooh, it's not. Okay, it's not.
Bookworm, Techie, and Doleful are the shortest.
Well, it can't be Techie because he can't stand on a chair.
I mean, or what if he could?
Okay, he could be lying.
He could lie. I mean, I don't think it would be Bookworm, but...
Well, she helped us solve the case, so I really doubt it's her. She made the thing for us to do it. So I really doubt it's her, but... oh my god. Well, I'm going to pick it anyway, because I'm out of options.
I think it's Techie.
Oh, I think it... whoops. Well, if only I paid more attention to what I was saying, this wouldn't have happened. That's funny. Retry interference. Sure. Oh, I have to go through the whole thing again?
Oh, damn it.
Oh, I probably had to do return to last. I pressed the wrong button. Okay. We should get up there pretty quickly. Interesting. So I might just actually save beforehand just in case.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't save here. Okay, well, I can do it after I pick a thing. Okay, so it's not Posh. It's not... okay, we'll try Techie. I can't save here. That's fine. I mean, I tried all the short people except for Rowdy. Oh my god. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. I'm gonna try the other option. Turn to last interference. Oh, perfect. Okay. We get one shot. But we can keep doing it. Okay, we're running out of choices. We also picked all the short people already.
Hmm. Gotta go with workaholic.
He was like one of the last three choices.
I mean, I only chose him because I'm like, it's my character. It's gotta be
Yeah, you're right.
it.
Okay. That
Ah,
that's right. It was you, workaholic detective. You're the culprit. You're the one who murdered Rowdy. Despite being accused as a killer, Workaholic smiles, completely unflustered.
that's a rather cruel joke. Think I'm the culprit on no grounds aside from the positions of our rooms? What about that makes you so sure that I'm the one who did it?
This is just what I'd expect from a veteran detective. His reply is calm and his voice is quiet. Before coming to this island, I might have lost faith in my theory and abandoned it. But I'm not hesitating anymore. I'll trust myself on this. The way Rowdy would have. It was odd for Workaholic to be where I saw him because... I'm guessing it's on the way to the bathroom. Your room's in the back. There's no reason to go through the front to reach the warden's bathroom. Being seen there would have been curtains for you.
In that case, shouldn't Techie be a suspect too? You ought to be ashamed, singling me out like that. Well, we already accused him, but we
tried.
lost.
We tried. Don't worry. We tried everyone
Yeah,
else.
We lost the game.
That's true. If it's just based on room location, Techie is a suspect too, but the trick used for this crime proves Techie can't be the culprit. That's because Techie uses a wheelchair. He's always in it, so even if he could stand, there'd be no need to fetch a chair. I don't want to believe it, but the only person who has something to lose by being seen near the SPX is you. You lacked the height. Apparently, you lacked the height. I didn't think he was that short, but...
Really? I thought he was tall, like...
Yeah,
one of the
exactly.
Ones.
He looks tall in the art, but... Huh?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe
So
he's just short with a really, really long neck.
Yeah, it's the tie. The tie makes him look tall.
Yeah.
So you panicked and took the closer route to the warden's room to get a chair. That's when you noticed me. And since I had already sent someone who was looking for them, you tried to have me removed altogether. That way you could eliminate the risk of being spotted while simultaneously pinning the crime on me. Workaholic's face changes color. Though I'm happy to catch the culprit, my heart feels heavy at the same time. I think Workaholic would do this. No, I can't believe it. But there's no going back now. I have to soldier on without faltering.
You're still lacking a motive, aren't you?
Huh?
What reason do I have to kill Rowdy?
Never have I heard Workaholic speak with such a cold voice. It freezes me in my tracks. He turns my way, pure ire etched on his expression.
I've been working with the detective line since its inception. Why would I harm a fellow member? I know I appear suspicious. Your theory holds water, but accusing someone without a motive, that's enough to strip you of your credentials.
Well, you see...
Treating others like criminals without identifying intent ruins people's lives. That's the worst thing a detective can do. Well, incompetent detective, answer me.
He rebukes me with furor. His threatening demeanor causes me to trip over my tongue. I can't find the words to fight back. My theory should be correct, but his harsh rebuttal makes me unsure. Did I really get this right?
Stand firm, Watto. Your theory is accurate. There's no doubt that Workaholic Detective is the guilty party. It isn't rare for culprits to panic, their emotions are running wild as they push back. Balking equals defeat, so stay calm and find the truth.
Bolstered by Holmes' encouragement, I keep my face steady as I meet Workaholic's eyes. They haven't changed, still gleaming with ferocious murderous intent, but I can't let them beat me. My theory could very well ruin Workaholic's life, but he didn't just ruin Rowdy's life, he ended it. I can't back down now. There's no way.
Let me ask again, why would I kill Rowdy? If you're so convinced I'm the culprit, tell me why I did it.
Here we go, Watto. Focus your mind and think. There must be something important that we're overlooking. Did Workaholic really want to kill Rowdy?
Well, if you want to threaten her, I feel like he'd take a completely different route. Wouldn't have done all that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because they did say before we went over the murder weapon, he did say it was like, oh, this was like a spur of the moment thing. And it's like, that seems way too specific of a murder method to be spur of the moment.
Yeah. Well, they did switch rooms, right?
Well, Renegade switched rooms with Rowdy. You know,
Yeah,
to be
so
honest, I'm guessing the answer is that he didn't want to kill her and he was trying to kill Renegade.
Yeah.
You didn't mean to kill Rowdy, did you? After all, you didn't have any incentive to.
What are you saying? Rowdy is dead, and that's a fact. What? Are you claiming that I killed her against my own wishes?
Workaholic's right. Rowdy was murdered. He didn't mean to kill her, but she's still dead. Looking back, I can think of one underlying cause for this. Before the murder, Rowdy switched cells with Renegade Detective, but you weren't aware of that. So even if you really had intended to kill her, you couldn't have, because you didn't know which room she was in. That brings me to another realization. This murder happened because two detectives swapped cells for the night, which means that Workaholic had actually meant to kill. Okay, so you know what? This is kind of like a chapter 4. He was doing it for the good of the group.
Mm-hmm. Incompetent. Please believe me. I didn't do it.
You know, I think we can forgive him. I mean, you know, he was going to try to kill Renegade, and that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, I'm down for that. In fact, you know what? Let's skip the trial and murder Renegade right now.
Yeah, that works. It's time to wrap this up, Workaholic. During our investigation, you secretly took black wires from the SPX and attached them to the chains of Renegade's wall bed. You set them on the floor against the wall so they would go unnoticed in the dark cell. That way, you could touch the wires from outside whenever. When the time was ripe, you went to Renegade's cell, took the wires you placed, and tied them taut to the bars, creating a makeshift bridge. That gives you 2 guide tracks from the bed to the bars. Then, if you thread them into the loop at the end of the spike, its own weight will glide it down. The knots would ensure the spike stopped above the chest of the sleeper. Then, after undoing one wire, it'd rest diagonally against the body. Last, yanking the other wire would pull the chain with it, closing the bed upon the spike like it was biting down. Terrifying contraption. This is how you plan to stab Renegade Detective to death while remaining outside of his cell. Emphasis on planned, that is. Since you never got a trial run, you didn't realize that the angle wasn't steep enough. So to fix that, you got a chair from the warden's room to stand on. But unfortunately, you ran into a wrinkle. Me. You knew it would be strange for you to be seen there, so you knocked me out and used me as a scapegoat. I fell right into your trap and became the prime suspect of the murder in this semi-sealed cell. You successfully pinned the crime on me. But after all your attention to detail, your fatal mistake was not knowing Renegade and Rowdy had swapped rooms for the night. A crime was carried out remotely and in the dark. You never realized who was in the cell, so you murdered Rowdy by mistake. Workaholic, you haven't gotten along with Renegade for a while now, have you? That was who you really wanted to kill, right? Workaholic's protests trail before dying off. His silence speaks far more to the truth than anything else that's been said. This murder was a tragedy done in darkness. Not a soul noticed it happen, and even the culprit wasn't wise to their own mistake. The mistake of killing Rowdy instead of Renegade. That culprit was you, Workaholic Detective. Workaholic's mouth hangs open, but no words come out. He has nothing to say in his defense. We all watch him in silence. The truth has been revealed, but there's still something I just can't comprehend. Workaholic, why were you so fixated on killing Renegade Detective? I can't see a rational, experienced detective like you allowing yourself to get emotionally provoked into murder. What happened between you two?
Well, you see...
Renegade Detective suddenly bursts into laughter. As he speaks, he points at Workaholic, his face flushed with joy. Bravo! What a show! What a show, Workaholic Detective, but it's game over for you now. I've been waiting with bated breath to see how you talk your way out of this one, but relying on a lack of motive was your final swan song. I was hoping you'd remember your old self and show some defiance. From the bottom of my heart, I'm disappointed here. You didn't give me the slightest of tingles. What are you even talking about? I'm not following at all. Then allow me to enlighten you. Workaholic Detective may act like your average white-collar company man, but a decade back he was the polar opposite. Isn't that right? Or should we ask all those children you kidnapped and confined in the name of justice way back when, Diabolic Detective?
Enough! Don't you dare call me that!
Workaholic, settle down. Workaholic's voice grows coarser than I've ever heard as he grabs Renegade. I step between them, but his words are still ringing in my ears. What are you trying to say, Renegade Detective? Workaholic kidnapping kids? There's no way. Yes way, actually. Diabolic Detective was the one who abducted you 10 years ago. Although the kidnapper himself has yet to realize that.
Incompetent?
It's not that strange, is it? After all, every detective on this island has had their life upturned by the Dayless Night incident. What is he talking about, Workaholic? Explain yourself.
Don't listen to him. It's true. I've done my share of evil deeds in the past, but now...
Some nerve saying that after killing your own colleague. You were diabolic back then, but 10 years is a long time, eh? So now you act all innocent as a world-weary middle manager. Fantastic, Diabolic.
I said not to call me that.
Workaholic slams his foot square into Renegade Detective's stomach. I hear the horrific sound of bones breaking. The sharp crack utterly dispels his formerly weak appearance.
So that kick earlier was just an act? About that.
Workaholic goes pale as he realizes his mistake. So you really were deceiving us all along, Workaholic.
No, this is all a misunderstanding. Back then, the old me knew nothing. Of course I regret it. Even now, I'm driven to make amends. It's why I don't sleep at night, why I continue my detective work.
Save your regrets for the judge. We all know the fact. You killed Rowdy. And I will never forgive you for that.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to apologize enough. Once I'm in hell, I'll look up at Rowdy in heaven and continue atoning.
At first, I think Workaholic is wiping away tears, but he suddenly whips toward Renegade Detective once again, his face full of rage.
But you, Renegade Detective, I will kill you, no matter what it takes, even if I must become Diabolic again. I swear I'll end your life. I know what you really are, Invincible Detective, the most abominable monster ever created by the secret police.
As if I would know what you creeps called me. All I recall is being locked up in this dungeon. You remember too, don't you, incompetent? We're both victims of Diabolic Detective's little abduction spree. Wait, what? You were one of the kids in that kidnapping incident too?
Just what are you two babbling about? Make some sense, you absolute nincompoops.
Oh, yep, and here we go. The truth of the matter, Posh is just a really bad detective and doesn't know how to follow anything.
Yep.
She's just an idiot. Oh, I do apologize, madam. Why don't I fill you in some other time? See, right now, we need to focus on restraining Diabolic Detective here. I bid thee refrain from resisting, Sir Workaholic. 'Tis not my desire to harm thee. If you get violent, we won't show any mercy. Sandwiched by armor and gourmet, Workaholic looks at the ceiling and lets out a deep sigh.
I'm not asking you to believe me, but I can't let you seize me like this. Not yet.
In an instant, Workaholic deftly slips out of their grasps before dashing into the passage the white SPX emerged from. It happens faster than my eyes can process. His speed belies the meekness he had presented up until now, and I failed to so much as react. I don't want to accept Renegade Detective Ward's as truth, but there's no doubt now that Workaholic has been concealing his abilities this whole time. Workaholic, we need to go after him. Everyone follows me toward the passage. We've solved the case, but all that leaves behind is an intangible misery hanging over us all. Okay, save real quick. Nope. Apparently I can't save right now. Never mind. Renegade Detective. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. I call out as we head down the hidden passage, my impatience getting the best of me. There's something I have to know. If everything you said is true, couldn't you have stopped Workaholic? What makes you say that? Your timing for switching rooms was too precise. You must have noticed the Workaholic had targeted you. Now, when did you go and get so sharp? Guess me picking on you really paid off, eh? So I'm right? Yep. I realized that he was gunning for me, but I couldn't be certain, so I decided to bring it to light. From there, I riled Workaholic up till he was finally kind enough to show us his true self. Shame Rowdy paid the price for it, though. How can you say that like you had nothing to do with it? Rowdy died in your place. So I should have died instead? Unlike her, I don't have any special physical abilities. If Diabolic actually got a shot at me, I'd have been a goner. That's why I asked Dolly to swap. He seems unlikely to die even if directly targeted. Then again, I also thought Rowdy would turn out fine. Damn shame she covered for him and got snuffed out for her trouble. Workaholic really ought to respect the sanctity of life more, eh? Are you serious? Or are you just trying to make me angry? Oh, I'm serious. I wanted Rowdy to live, but at the same time, I'm truly grateful to her. A shining example of detectivedom to the end. Rowdy Detective fulfilled her life's purpose with flying colors. And that's it. All that's left is for us, who were with her to the end, to tell her story. Is that all human lives are to you? If you'd stopped him, Rowdy would... She'd still be... That's enough, incompetent. Now that we're on the move, how about you give that wagging tongue of yours a rest, renegade? Talk again soon, incompetent. My guard relaxes as Gourmet, true to her nature, intervenes once again. Renegade always manages to trip me up, and I feel pathetic about it every time. But Gourmet is able to keep her calm, even while facing someone who was involved in Rowdy's death. And albeit indirectly, she really is incredible. Thanks, Gourmet. Really, I appreciate you stepping in like that. I should be the one thanking you. It was you, not me, who ended up avenging Rowdy after all. Gourmet's hand trembled slightly when she touches me. When I look closer, I spot tears in her eyes. Thanks for sticking up for Rowdy just now, incompetent. Sorry I haven't been any help. She wipes her eyes with her handkerchief, and in an instant she's back to her usual, unflappable, beaming self. I promise we'll make it out of here alive, in the name of everyone who's died. Well, don't promise that too soon. We're only on chapter 3. Yeah. We've lost another friend, but we can't stop now. Those mysterious SPX sentry mechs, the sprawling underground maze, the secret police who built it, and the diabolic detective who kidnapped me. If we're going to unravel all these mysteries, we have to commit to pressing on, no matter what. Cool. That's chapter 3 in the books.
Wow. Another one of my characters gone. I knew it.
Another 2 of your characters gone, potentially. Huh? Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, you just get to sit back and relax now.